Good morning, one and all, my dear children. As we all are held up in our house, confined to the four walls of our sweet home during this pandemic season, I am thankful to God Almighty to gather all of us together for the second day of the second academic year 2021-22 through the virtual class. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our guest speaker of the day, Professor J.N. Moorthy, who is currently the Director of IISER Trivandrum and on deputation from the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur. He is internationally recognized as an organic chemist with interest in areas that include photochemistry, supermolecular chemistry, and organic materials. He has been awarded the prestigious Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize in the year 2008, the highest annual science prize awarded by the Government of India for the researchers below the age of 45. Since 2015, he holds the J.C. Bose National Fellowship, one of the highest national research fellowship of the country. He is an recipient of bronze and silver medals from Chemical Research Society of India. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of St. Thomas Residential School and our MTCS family. I also welcome our principal of St. Thomas Residential School, Mr. Baby Putti P. Rajan, Vice Principal, Mrs. Solly Varghese, all the class teachers of 10, 11, and 12, our subject teachers, and my dear students. Let all of us join hands to quarantine our laziness and lethargy and move forward to accept new opportunities, fulfill our dreams, and hope for life. Moving on you to Moorthy sir for the today's session.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Am I audible clearly, I suppose?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Dear Principal, Vice Principal, teachers, supporting staff, and my dear students. I think first of all, my warm greetings on new academic year. I think I should thank you for thinking about inviting me to sort of have a few words with your student fraternity. Well, I'm lost. I find myself nostalgically pushed back into about 40 years and reliving those moments as the days that students are living today. 1 year up for every one of you, right? It's a new class as you enter into the school. It's a different matter that you're not coming to the school, but in principle, you're one level up. And your class teacher probably would have changed. A new teacher, some new faces because shuffling happens in the sections, and some familiar faces, some new faces. It's a different feeling, right? A feeling that is truly mixed. Maybe some friends that you have all along lived with probably is relocated into some other section, and some new friends come in and you miss them, but then you're ready to embrace new friendship. It's a mixed feeling, new teachers and a new feeling altogether. And for those, I'm told, the students basically comprise those from 10th standard, 11th standard, and 12th standard. That's what I was told. So for the 10th standard, for the students in 10th standard, if I'm to imagine by myself, or 10th, I come from a Jilla Parishad high school, and the school had only up to 1 to 10. It was a great feeling to be the senior most in the school, right? But I'm not sure. St. Thomas, of course, has up to 12th. I'm not sure if there is a degree also. But in a way, it's a milestone. For those in 11th standard, it's a feeling altogether different. Up until 10th, well, you study every subject, right? I have a daughter who likes science, to some degree mathematics, but this is social studies, SST, I don't like it. There are also students who like social studies and history, but not as much mathematics and sciences. So in other words, if you moment you come to 11th, it's a different feeling that you are basically offloading a few subjects, beginning to get specialized. And if I'm to talk about the students in 12th, it's really complex. One way, well, you're up there before, so ready to enter into colleges or maybe the universities or institutions like ours, IISER, IITs, and things like that. You're bracing up yourself. It's a challenging time, a crucial year. In fact, a decisive year in one's life, 12th. So this is the bunch that I'm faced with today. Very unique kind of a feeling to me, right? Unfortunately, much happiness has been robbed away as I was reliving the moments of my academic career, right? I'm sure all the students would have really loved to come to the school and talk to each other. Unfortunately, all that happiness on this day has been robbed away and deprived by COVID-19 pandemic. And none of this that I talked about are there to be experienced. As a chief guest, unfortunately, you can't see me and I can't see you in reality. How wonderful would it have been to be in your school? I've heard about this school. And I've been told, supposedly, this is one of the best in Trivandrum. I've also been told the student capacity is to the tune of 9,000. That's really humongous, right? And be part of that excitement. You know, you are in that age group. At times, when we look at you, the way that you guys run in this age, it seems as though we have forgotten running. When you age and cross 50 years, and we look at you with such, high energy, it's all not to happen, unfortunately. We are placed in a virtual platform, something that we knew nothing about even 15 months back, right? I question. Everything has changed. Let me question in a while. A new way, a new life, a new normal, we all have embraced. We have all adapted so quickly, isn't it? Sitting in front of gadgets from the morning till night has become a way of life. Digital technology has now become a vehicle for education. In a way, it's a blessing in disguise, indeed. What would it have been? Let's say I was talking about my own life. Let's say 13 years back. If this pandemic were to set in, simple it is, we all would have lost 2 years, right? If my generation was hit 30 years back by corona pandemic, God forbid it hasn't, I would not have been here in Trivandrum. Who knows? 2 years of interruption in the education, what it would have done to me. I may not have even pursued, right? And your school administration would have lined up me as a speaker for today, in reality. But as I said, the technology has advanced. We have this digital technology that was non-existent even 10 years back. We couldn't fathom about 15 months back that we would have something like this today. That's what I would like to say, right? The adversity that we are going through is unprecedented. The whole world is going through. And as we all know, India is the worst victim of. And not sparing Kerala. Kerala also has been a worst victim of. But this adversity, I think we have to learn in life, presents itself to us with advantages and new lessons, right? Isn't it a great lesson that we are going through? Right? Surf internet, you get enough how hard times basically lead to great moments, tough situations, build strong character in us. I think let's put back the negativity associated with the pandemic. Let's look at it from a positive perspective. What has it done? Yes, even as an institute administrator of, I'm an administrator, I'm the director of this institution of higher education. I couldn't imagine 15 months back that we would be running the classes like this in the digital space. So what did the pandemic do? It pushed us, it cornered us, it left us with no option. right? It left us with no option. The digital technology has become a wave for education. It's happening. The education is happening. The technology we all thought was going to come probably 4 or 5 years back, time later, has become speeded up, has become expedited, and we have it. It became a reality with an astounding pace and speed. We are sitting at home and receiving the education and taking the examinations. Of course, this technology also is helping you guys, right? With better grades, isn't it? If you were to take the examination, yeah, offline, and you wouldn't score those many marks because it is a digital spec technology, proctored examination. No matter what we try to do to ensure that you don't resort to some kind of unscrupulous activities and score, sort of copy, but it happens. Better grades, right? There's a flip side. No academic year, that is the point, right? No academic year is lost. Have you lost? I posed this question 13 years, 30 years back. What would have happened? I said, I would have certainly lost 2 years. But what is the case now? No academic year is lost. And we are continuing with the education. I think if you speak of the education, it's very important. By whatever means, we ought to have the education. Education, according to Nelson Mandela, is one of the most beautiful weapons to change the world. Education is the one that can change the world. We all know it helps people to become better citizens. It allows us the wisdom to sort of differentiate between the good and bad. It allows us to sort of build a life with, better paid salary. It allows us to make better citizens, citizens that know, respect rights, laws, and regulations in a manner that we create a society, a better society that we live in. Education is indispensable. Let's accept that, right? We need education, unquestionably. And that's what we are here for. That's what you're all here for. The world has changed in the last 1.5 years. I want to emphasize to you, even your school has been running the classes. Institutions across the country have been running basically the colleges and discourse, teaching, research, every activity. Examinations are being conducted. And today, you are, as I said, into a next level. Pretty much as if oblivious of whatever that has been happening around, we are getting on. Our education has not stopped. Pretty much everything has come to a halt. We don't have vehicles on the road, but yet we are connected. We haven't allowed the education to take a beating. That's what I mean. Our commitment to education hasn't changed. Acquiring this education in times like this that we are going through is challenging and distressing. I think we all know this. So for the students to sit alone and receive this education requires a lot of things. You need to have a structure. You have to have the grit to stay focused, not to get distracted. You'll feel isolated. You don't have friends anymore around you, no matter how much you talk over a virtual space, but nothing like engaging with them person to person, right? Nothing like getting onto a football ground there and playing with your friends. That's a different life altogether. Right? All this is not happening, unfortunately, but then you are stressed out. Examinations are going on, examinations are being conducted, a lot of basically education is being transferred, classes are going on. You are required to sort of educate, learn, and submit your assignments and everything. In other words, the way that it would happen in a natural course is happening. But you don't have that personal life. That is distressing. And to persist with what you're doing, basically the education, the much wanted education, isn't easy. It isn't easy to stay self-motivated. It's hard for you. hard for everyone else, even for the teachers as well. In fact, for me, easy for me to walk into a lecture and use the blackboard and give, do a teaching for 1 hour. But then if I am to prepare a video for you and make the PPTs and share them for your knowledge, it's really a pain for me. But I think we have to move on. I think my computer has a habit of speaking, the Siri. Okay, it's hard for you, hard for us. Some bad days, you'll feel dejected. But then you have to remotivate yourself and look to move forward. This is the advice that I want to give you. I'm sure most of your teachers would have said this. Everything shall pass. This too shall pass. We are going through those worst phases in our lives. The pandemic that has hit us hard. In fact, so badly in the last 60 days, right? Let's be hopeful. I think human beings by birth are optimistic. I think one of my senior colleague would tell me, yeah, well, every day I wake up, get up in the hope that I see the sun in the east, and go to bed in the hope that the next day also I see the sun in the east. That is optimism. Right? I think we have to stay optimistic and believe in the fact that this shall pass. And there will be the good days that bring you back to the school. My dear children, understand, particularly 10th, 11th, and 12th. You are, all of you, in a very career-defining phase. In fact, the 12th are at crossroads in your life. And in 10th, you are in crossroads in your lives. What is that I want to pursue? Do I want to pursue science? Do I want to pursue commerce? What is that I want to be? Want to be an engineer? Want to be a teacher? Want to sort of embrace some kind of vocational courses? My family financial situation doesn't permit. Need to have some kind of education that allows me to start earning money quickly, right? You have to factor a lot of things. Everybody is not entitled to higher education, and which is where you draw a line, and which is where I feel 10 plus 2 is really a phase that defines your career, right? And at times when you're going through this kind of a bad phase, as I said, there are always odd bad days where on days when to keep your motivation really going isn't easy. And of course, technology is available. You can resort to internet and surf, look for motivation. You get a lot of stuff, right? It's like, oh, if you want the life to change you, you got to change. If you want the life to be better, you got to get better. When you change, everything will start changing for you. Don't wait for the changes to happen, but make the changes to happen. All this kind of stuff you find enormously in the internet. There are n number of motivational speakers originating from our Indian origin. I'm not one, unfortunately. In fact, I'm a wrong speaker for you. I don't know why at all your school thought about inviting me. I'm not one of those motivational speakers. If you had called me to give a talk on chemistry, probably I would have talked about, well, guys, what is it that the world is faced with today, the kind of challenges, right? What is that the science can do? What are the ominous problems that we are faced with, starting from your climate change to water problem to energy crisis to sustainability to all these kind of things. I can go on and on to motivate you and inspire you. But amongst you, there may be n number, several who may be interested in becoming a chartered accountant, or who may be embracing a literature, or who may be wanting to become some kind of a journalist, right? Who may be wanting to pursue some law, and some of you may be pursuing, trying to become, engineers or doctors. So it's a heterogeneous group, and I cannot bring my profession and talk about science alone to the boredom of the rest who are not interested in science, isn't it? So I have to desist that. I have to talk about absolutely general, but I decided to do that in a manner. What is it that you want at this time? The bad times that we are going through. What is it that you need in life? At a time, as I said, is a very career, when you are placed in a career defining phase. At a time when you are at times, crossroads of not knowing what you want to be. And let me offer you, as an educationist, I also have my children, to some word of advice as to what you should do. Let your decisions, everybody has a passion, innate passion, right? I might like something, but the same thing may not be liked by a friend which isn't to me. Tastes are different. So it's very important that you do the soul searching within yourself and see where your passion resonates and develop a clarity in what you like. If you don't like, but trust upon doing something that you don't like, you're not going to achieve. To come up in life for a better life, you got to kind of have some goals. These goals should be achievable goals. What I mean by achievable goals is that I can put a ladder down. I'm in the second floor, up until second floor, and from the ground I can climb up and be here. It's a realistic goal. It's an achievable goal. But can I look up above the sky? Can I try to put a ladder to the sky? You won't go anywhere. Right? It's very important that we set goals, the goals that are achievable. Once you set goals, right, you have to have right goals. Let me tell you a small example. There's something that you serve and you get plenty on it, a story of an eagle. So there was this eagle and had a small one in its nest, which was coming of age. And when it looked down, there was this huge pig under the tree. And it told its mother, I want to have that pork. Can I go and catch it? But this small eagle was an obedient one and would listen to the elders. Right? It's very important that you listen to the elders. So the mama eagle said, no, you are still not there. I think you're at a stage that you can only look for mice. Start basically hunting mice and succeed. And this obedient eagle continued, of course, became perfect at catching mice. Then a day came, another day. There was this pork again. I mean, what do you call it? Yeah. Again underneath, pig underneath the tree. I said, Mama, maybe it's time. I should go for it. I said, no, still not the time. Wait for some more days. I think probably you could try now a small lamb. Well, very obedient son, the eagle was, the little one. And of course, listened to the mama eagle and went after the lambs, small lambs. And with time to come, it became a master of that. Days went by. Of course, it became larger, far exceeding the mother eagle. A day came, of course, the son eagle basically asked for permission from the mother. Can I now go for a pork? Of course, the mother was sure that the guy had grown sufficiently that he could now look for the pig. Gave a green signal, of course. It went after, and they had the dinner of pork. The story is a little one, but so much to tell us. It's about basically setting the right goals at right time. That's important. Right time. So you have to have your achievable goals and set these achievable goals at right time. It's not enough to set goals, but you need to have commitment. You remember I said, look for where your passion is. When you don't have that passion, no matter what goals you set, no matter how committed you are, you're not going to achieve. The passion is the driving force. And you should let that passion to drive you through that commitment to achieve the goals. That's what I want to tell you. The biggest challenge is in doing so, being unfettered, not losing hope, being absolutely focused and diligent, Hold your goals before you. Strategize. Right? Again, as a chemist by profession, I would like to go back to chemistry, but I'll desist from talking about chemistry. As I said, I want to offer you some advice for a better tomorrow, children. I want to give you a quote to remember. I'm sure I would like to see at the end of the day, at the end of my talk, that you will carry this and you will remember me for what I said. Okay? And there's the advice that I want to give you. Learn to be a great friend to thyself, and embrace your friend. I'm saying, what is this nonsense that he's talking about? Friend to yourself and embrace that friend. Yes. Create a friend of your own. Who's that friend? The friend who epitomizes certain qualities. What I mean is that embrace that friend who epitomizes some qualities. In other words, you build a character of your own with those qualities that you would like your friend to be. And that friend is none other than yourself. What is a friend? When we speak of friend, you're talking about FRIEND, right? These are the ones that I want to tell you. A friend, let's talk about F. In life, to get better. In life, to be up there, to create a world of your own, a successful life of your own. As I said, be a friend of your own self. Embrace that friend. Who is that friend? The friend that you yourself, you that characterize these qualities of letters in friend. F to mean by being focused. It's very important to be focused. Motivation, perseverance, commitment are all basically the synonyms. You can look around. We have a lot of role models in our society. Who's the epitome of focus? Right? We love sports. People are there, up there. For example, Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli, Pullela Gopichand, for example. Mary Kom, absolute focus. Be focused. The second. Then we get to R. These are the qualities that you should embrace. To mean resilient. You have to be resilient. Our country is in itself a standing example of resilience. We're going through the worst of the phase. We're resilient. Some life is lost, yet we are locking, unlocking, locking, unlocking. With everything happening, we are ensuring that there are food supplies. Not many people are starved. There are some good, noble people out there supplying the food to the people to ensure that the fellow countrymen don't suffer. We are resilient, right? A great example of our own education is the worst. This is the world's worst pandemic that we are going through. We have stayed resilient. Slowly, we are beginning to emerge victorious. And I said, this too shall pass. And I'm only hoping that we will have in a few days from now, we will be done in a few days from now with this pandemic, and probably will kickstart our normal living. Every one of us is waiting for that day. A classic example again of a small story of this resilience, right? There was this farmer who had a donkey. This donkey had served him enough. It was getting older. And unfortunately, one day it fell into a well, deserted well. And the farmer was taken aback, needed to sort of retrieve the donkey, tried all his best. And it was not going to be easy. He had to virtually give up. But the donkey in the pit, in the well, piteously was hoping that he would be bailed out. The farmer gave up and said, anyway, this guy is at the fag end of his life. has served me enough, but I don't think I can expect much. He's only a burden, so let me bury him. So pulled up a few friends, former friends, and started putting the mud on it into the well so that the well is closed and he's buried. Almost pretty much declared that the donkey is dead. So after a while, a lot of mud started basically falling on the donkey. Donkey realized this was being buried. It was being buried. So each time the mud would fall, it would shake off itself and allow the mud to go underneath and climb up. And it did that so persistently, tirelessly, until the time that the pit was basically buried. And all of a sudden, to the shock of the farmer and his friends, basically, up there was this donkey alive, which ran away. This is resilience. How do you test yourself at trying times and don't declare and don't give up? It's a wonderful example of resilience. My dear friends, you have to embrace your own threat, not me. Right? The focus, resilience. What is the next? Later, inspiration. Right? You need to inspire yourself, which is what I said. You're going through very bad times. You have to keep going. Can't give up. Keep going, unfettered, unrestrained, unstoppable. Be inventive. Right? What are the great examples of this inspiration? For inspiration, we have several. Look at basically Nelson Mandela, who sacrificed his life for social justice and equality. We have our own Mahatma Gandhi, who showed us non-violence as a vehicle for liberating ourselves, our country, from the clutches of British. Abdul Kalam, a great inspiration, a boy who was born to a fisherman, who was circulating basically the newspapers to earn his livelihood, went on to become a scientist and became the president of India. You have to inspire yourself. You have to acquire that quality to look at people around, to look at happenings around, not allow your shoulders to droop. Keep going at times of adversity. And in doing so, of course, you should excel. You should look to excel. Excellence. Hitting that quality of being eminent is something that you should always aim for. If I speak of the excellence, I think if I'm an educationist, immediately the one that I would think about, which are the excellent institutions for science and technology in India? Which are the institutions for excellent medical sciences in India, for business administration in India? These are excellent, right? Business administration, IIMs, IITs, science education, IISER, right? We do have this technology, institutions. But then if in the international scene, there are plenty of them. Oxford, Cambridge, MIT, Harvard University, Princeton, Caltech, Berkeley, you can number. Do we have such institutions in our country? We don't have yet. Are we up there in education? If you are up there in education, why then these students look to migrate for higher education to Europe or Japan, or not Japan, of course, not as much. But the West, unfortunately, we still don't have. I think we have to understand that our country was late into higher education. It's only now that we are building our institutions to be amongst those top class. And much weight is on your shoulders. More challenges are for your generation. We are on the way out, passing on the mantle to you guys, right? So set that excellence as a target, right? Then in doing so, and important is N. What is this N? Nourishment. Nurture good thoughts. Ensure you're physically fit, right? Nurture nourishment of your body and mind is very important. Nurture, shun negativity. Negativity has to go. Nurture positivity. FRIEN. Are we done? There is D. What is the D? Determination. You cannot let go. You set goals. Once you set goals, be a friend of your own. Right? I want you to remember this. Be a friend of your own. Who is that friend? The friend who epitomizes the qualities that I talked about. What are those? Being focused, being resilient. I. What was I? I want you to tell me. Being inspired, looking to excel. N to mean carry that nourishment. D to mean being determined. Be a friend of your own with those qualities, right? And the determination, if you talk about, I want to again take this example. Just 2 days back, we had this woman, Maricom. I'm sure all of you know, right? She got a silver medal. She was aiming for a gold, sixth gold medal at the age of 38, 39, being a mother of 3 children in the boxing competition. Isn't it easy? Is it easy? I think this is the grit of highest order. We have to look at people of this kind. I think everything is possible. It's all in your mind. It's all about how you make your mind really strong enough to accomplish what you want, right? Steer yourself with these qualities. Learn to equip yourself with more knowledge, more and more knowledge that you're endowed with, more and more confident you would look. If you know more, you have no inhibitions. Your shoulders are high, right? You're up there for taking up any challenge, right? This general tendency of the students. I'm one of those, unfortunately. I try, but it's not easy. There's something that you have to shun at this early age. I have acquired it. Bad habits die hard. And it is one such bad habit that I've acquired. This is the bad habit of procrastination. What actually is it? You keep pushing everything till the last minute. You do it, but keep pushing everything to the last minute. This is where we lose sense of valuable time. My dear little guys, I want to tell you all, embrace this quality of valuing time. Time is a very precious commodity, right? Procrastination is terrible. And when you want to really value, I have my children at home, so I know it, right? My daughter is in 10th and my son is in the final of medicine, and I know what it is. A lot of time is wasted on the social media, and you can't live without gadgets, right? And of course, if the schools were open and we were not to have the pandemic, movies, going out and hanging out, and ice cream parlors and the food outlets, pretty much everything. That is also another problem. We don't value time. Push everything just before the examinations, 3 days, 4 days before the examination. Sort of gulp everything, don't sleep, and next day vomit and forget everything. That is not education. Education is something that you acquire as a wisdom with time, that is resident in your mind for long, not a transient. The memory is also of two kinds, short term and long term. I'm sure all of you know, right? So what you are engaging is in the short term one, but real wisdom is based on long term education. Education that you want to sort of retain is the one that is going to help you. Short term one is not going to help you. Value your time. Second, question your actions. Am I doing the right one? Right? Did you do the right thing? The second way, the people do tell you, no, put behind the past and keep moving. Don't look back. This is all rubbish. If you don't introspect on your actions, if you don't analyze your actions, if you don't learn from your actions, there is no better thing. There is no betterment. You don't get better. You ought to introspect. on your actions and question yourself if what you did is right or wrong. And if you did find it wrong, if you don't bring in a corrective measure, that means there is no scope for your betterment. This is how you get better and better. Third, shun fear. Fear is a deadly thing. I think you must exhibit high courage. Whenever you are faced with this conflict, pose yourself a question, right? I'm so afraid. What the heck is it that can happen at the end? Right? Maybe I do a bad job. Okay, so be it. If you accept that, then you nothing to fear about. So if end result is acceptable to you, the fear is gone. If you're asked to give a talk, for example, you have all fear, inhibition, everything, that only kills you. You'll make it bad. But if you prepare yourself, I don't care, even if my talk is going to be bad, so be it. I'm not only one of those. There are n number. You prepare yourself. The fear is gone. And in fact, you will deliver the best. Right? So the fear basically leads you to some kind of a bad reaction. But courage will allow you to make a right decision. This is what Winston Churchill told once. Right? You cannot exist in isolation. You need to be amongst friends. You will have to have relationships. You have to have friends. You're not able to meet now, but I'm sure you're definitely meeting on the virtual space. Connected on WhatsApp. Right? Typing, very, very fast. And our generation cannot fathom how these guys just go left, right, and center in no time. The words are typed up. Connected. Maybe about tens of them at the same time, shuttling from one to the other. You do have relationships. You do have friends. Right? These relationships are something that I want to warn you about. There are relationships that nurture you to get better. There are relationships that are toxic, make you bad. You got to make a right choice if you want to make your life better. I think I'm approaching almost whatever that I wanted to say. Be a friend of yourself, and a few things that I told you. Procrastination, shun, question your actions, value your time. Before I end, I think there are so many teachers. I would like to leave a little advice to the teachers as well, right? Students are suffering. We know it, right? It's not easy. Teachers should not think giving some kind of, my class is over and giving some assignment is, I'm done with my course. Unfortunate, right? If they were to come to this course, a pat on the back, saying a good word to a student will inspire them. But unfortunately, that's not happening, right? So there is no appreciation. When there is no appreciation, there is no motivation for the students. These are invisible times. Everything is basically in the virtual space. We don't see them and they don't see us. And we can't know what their problems are. If they came to the school, well, somebody is not doing well. Somebody is gloomy, consistently gloomy. A teacher can take note of, no, he's suffering from something. And one day you can basically touch and shake and find out if all is well or all is not well. There's no scope for that, right? Teachers at times can be great companions for the students, great guides for the students. In fact, it is the teachers that make their life different. If I'm a chemist today, it's because of the impact of a teacher. For everyone's life, as a teacher has quintessentially played some role. Like my daughter was not liking physics as much, but chemistry she was hooked to. A simple analysis tells me that the teacher was not good enough. Any question that a student asks, if the teacher says, well, you can look up this, you can look up that, and go to the internet, then you don't go to the teacher. But if there is a teacher who sits with you and makes you explain, makes you understand, brings out that clarity and sort of clears up the cobwebs, the student gets inspired to know more and more. That's how a passion is created. right? The teachers are great companions for the students. I think talking to them helps. I would like to tell you, even in the virtual space, please develop a dialogue with the students. We don't see them. We should endeavor to know them. Maybe I'm over speaking. It's not required. I should shut up, right? I don't understand anything anyway. So let me continue. I think you should tell them. I think, guys, mute them. Otherwise, then I will not be able to speak. All of you, please. Okay? Just a few minutes, then I let you speak. Okay? This has been given to me, right? So I have that luxury. I should use that luxury. I've been invited. So it's my free time. It's my time. And I should enjoy that luxury. Okay? Right? I think what I was saying was a little advice to the teachers. The students are going through the tough times. Given that, I think the teachers should take it upon themselves to worry about and develop a dialogue with the students, not just teach, but then sort of, deal with them at a personal level and try to know better. When we know better, we can do better. I think as teachers, you all should look to do better. Right? Before I end, let's all wish for better days. Hope that we get past bad times very soon, and wish that all of us have good old school days back very soon. All the very best to every one of you, my dear children, as you embark on a new page in the academic chapters of your lives. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I ask the students, if you have any queries, you can go on. You can ask any question because we have the professor among us. Anything, any clarification.
Sure. I didn't expect that I would speak for 40 minutes. Oh my God, that's too much.
Children, any of the students or teacher, anyone?
I'll come to your school anyway, right? Then we'll face more questions. Looks like nothing is coming forward and nobody is coming forward. But the school is not far away. And I also would like to see this school. And someday, hopefully, I'll have that opportunity. Okay, I have another meeting coming up. If you permit me, I did not see the time. I think
just a minute, sir.
Yeah.
I welcome Archer of 12A. Please present the vote of thanks for that, sir.
Yeah.
Archer.
Good morning to all. It gives me immense pleasure to propose to thank Moorthy sir, who has taken the time to come talk to us. Moorthy sir is a recipient of bronze and silver medals from the Chemical Research Society of India. He has won several other accolades and has been a visiting professor in institutes across Japan, France, and Germany. He is a great researcher and a wonderful teacher. Moorthy sir gave us tips about online school and on how to feel motivated during these tough times, as this too shall pass. He also advised us to use this time to search for achievable goals. He told us to find a good friend in ourselves, to make use of time wisely, and to shun fear. Thank you, sir, for these valuable advices. Next, I'd like to thank our teachers and everyone else who took the time to arrange this wonderful session for us. Last but certainly not least, I would like to thank all of you for your patient listening and active participation. Thank you all and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you.